The alien fleet arrives in Earth's atmosphere, and their presence causes a ripple throughout space. At first, everything feels normal. But when Earth's defense systems activate, a strange phenomenon occurs. Time itself seems to stop. In this suspended moment, the fate of Earth and the galaxy hangs in the balance. Humanity's response will soon set the course for a new era. The alien fleet had arrived. Massive, intimidating, and impossibly advanced, the ships filled Earth's skies with a darkness that seemed to swallow the sun. Their weapons were visible, pointed toward the planet as a message to all who looked up: submission or destruction. The leader of the alien forces stood in the command room of his flagship, watching the view screens with a look of calm superiority. The human defenses were primitive, their technology laughable. He had seen this all before, another backwater species incapable of resisting the inevitable. He would not waste time with pleasantries. The planet would fall. Earth's silence, its lack of response, had been a sure sign of defeat. "Activate the invasion protocols," he ordered, his voice cold and commanding. "This will be over quickly." On Earth, the atmosphere was thick with tension. The sudden appearance of the alien fleet sent shockwaves through the global defense network. Governments scrambled to respond. The world's defenses, though formidable, were still recovering from their initial shock. The military had been preparing for an event like this, but no one could have predicted the scale of the threat. Commander. Jackson stood in the Earth Defense Command Center, watching the massive screens, his heart pounding in his chest. The alien ships had already started to deploy their forces, their sleek forms casting a dark shadow across Earth's landscape. The silence from the alien fleet, coupled with their immense size, struck a chord deep within Jackson. They weren't here for negotiations. They were here to conquer. "Sir, we've detected an energy spike from the alien flagship," one of the officers reported, her voice trembling slightly. "It's a direct power-up to their weapons. They're preparing to fire." Jackson nodded, his expression grim. "Activate all defense systems. We cannot let them breach our atmosphere." As Earth systems powered up, Jackson's mind raced. They had fought and built for this day. But would it be enough? Suddenly, a strange pulse rippled through the atmosphere. A subtle hum, almost imperceptible at first, began to grow louder, pulsing through every living thing on Earth. It was as if the very air itself had thickened, slowing everything down, like the universe was holding its breath. A flash of blinding white light erupted from the alien flagship. But before the weapon could discharge, something changed. Time. It wasn't just the physical world. The air itself seemed to freeze, suspended in a moment that felt both endless and suffocating. The countdown to battle stopped. The hum from the weapon paused mid-charge. Even the heartbeat of every living creature seemed to hang in stasis. There was a deep, profound silence. It felt as though the universe itself had frozen in place. Earth's systems stopped. The alien fleet stopped. The ship's engines, frozen mid-thrust, hovered motionless in the sky. "What is this?" Jackson's voice was a quiet whisper, the words leaving his mouth without any sound in the frozen world around him. His hands gripped the edge of the console, feeling the weight of the moment. Is this real?" The officers around him were frozen in place. The air was thick with tension, as if they were trapped inside a frozen moment, unable to move, unable to act. And above them, the alien fleet sat still, suspended in the sky, a ghostly presence that could not move forward. Back in the alien command center, the fleet leader's calm facade cracked as he watched the data streams flicker and pause. The screens had gone blank. His command center was eerily silent. His officers tried desperately to regain control, but it was as if something unseen had taken hold. "Report!" the leader demanded, his voice rising with panic. "What is happening to our systems?" "We can't explain it, sir. one of his officers said, his hand shaking. "Our weapons, they're not responding. The fleet is frozen. We've lost control over our entire network." The fleet leader slammed his fist against the console, the impact rattling the entire command room. "What kind of weapon is this? How did they disable us?" On Earth, Jackson's voice was the first to break the silence, though it was barely a whisper. "What is happening?" Suddenly a crackling sound broke through the static of the stillness. The screen before him flickered to life, showing an image, a simple image of Earth's planet, vibrant with life. And then, just as suddenly, the alien fleet began to move again, but at a pace that felt unnatural. Their weapons remained silent, and their ships seemed unable to engage. It was as if Earth had tapped into something ancient, something hidden beneath their quiet exterior. The alien invasion that had been mere moments from devastation had suddenly become static. Earth had found a way to stop time, even if just for a few seconds, and that was before Earth even responded. The stillness was broken, but the world had changed. The brief moment of frozen time hung like a heavy cloud, lingering in the air as Earth's systems powered up once more. Commander Jackson stood frozen, staring at the monitor, his heart still racing. The alien fleet had been paralyzed in the sky, unable to advance or retreat, caught in an unexpected moment of vulnerability. His thoughts raced. What just happened? He glanced at the officers around him. They were all in the same position, frozen, in shock, unsure of the reality they were now faced with. The systems blinked back to life, the hum of Earth's defense grid slowly returning to normal. Jackson forced himself to speak. "Did we do this?" He had to ask, but his voice barely escaped his lips. A fleeting moment of calm seemed to linger, before the reality of the situation set in. "We don't know, sir," Daniels responded, her voice equally filled with disbelief. "Our sensors, they're still coming back online. It's like something interrupted everything." And then, as if on cue, the monitor flickered to life once again. The alien fleet had begun to move, slowly at first, hesitant, as though they were unsure of what was happening. A streak of terror flooded Jackson's chest. "They're still here," he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. "But something is different." He turned to the tactical officers. "What's happening?" The officers, still shaking off the confusion, started reporting back. "Sir, their weapons are still dormant. Their ship's engines are running, but their weapons are offline. We have control of their frequency. They're trying to re-establish their systems, but it's not working." Jackson nodded. This was Earth's chance. He stepped toward the communications panel, his voice resolute. "Now's our chance. Don't let them recover. Open fire. Target their command ships." On the alien flagship, chaos reigned. The once meticulous operations were now a scramble to regain control, but the time anomaly had disrupted every system. The fleet leader was in the middle of a heated argument with his officers, frustration and panic seeping into his voice. "Do something!" he barked at his engineers, slamming his fist onto the console in front of him. "Our fleet is at a standstill, and we don't even know why." His eyes flickered between the malfunctioning control systems and the broken screens. "Why isn't anything working?" "We don't know, sir," one of the senior officers replied, his voice trembling. "We've never encountered anything like this before. Earth has disabled our systems without firing a single shot. It's as if time itself was altered." The fleet leader's expression hardened as he absorbed the officer's words. "Earth has become more dangerous than we imagined. They knew we were coming, and they've prepared." "We need to break through," the second-in-command said, speaking urgently. "They've caught us off guard, but we can still retaliate. We have the numbers." "Retaliate?" the leader snapped, his voice darkening. "We can't even function. It's not about numbers anymore. It's about survival. And Earth is showing us that survival is not guaranteed." Back on Earth, Jackson's command was decisive. Earth's warships, smaller in number but devastatingly powerful, began their assault on the alien fleet. The Leviathan, the flagship of Earth's forces, led the charge, unleashing a volley of energy blasts that tore through the first line of alien ships. Their weapon systems were still inactive, and the humans were pressing every advantage. The alien fleet, still reeling from the previous shockwave, struggled to mount any effective defense. The human ships moved in close, targeting the alien command ships. Earth's advantage was in its agility. With the alien fleet's weapons offline, the humans could move freely, picking apart the alien formations with precision. Direct hit on their forward command ship. One of the officers shouted as the screen lit up with explosions. "Their shields are collapsing!" Jackson watched as the alien fleet began to stagger under the pressure. The once mighty invaders were now on the defensive, unable to fight back effectively. But Jackson knew this wouldn't last. The aliens would regroup. They always did. "We need to keep the pressure up," Jackson ordered. "We can't let them recover. Focus on their rear ships. Take out their engines. We'll lock them in." The officers moved swiftly, relaying Jackson's orders to the fleet. Each shot, each strike was calculated to cripple the alien fleet's ability to flee or counterattack. The humans knew they had the element of surprise, but Jackson wasn't foolish enough to think it would last. The alien fleet had far too many resources. If Earth didn't finish this quickly, the momentum would shift. In the depths of the alien flagship, the fleet leader was visibly shaken. His once pristine fleet was now breaking apart. The message was clear. Earth wasn't just defending itself. It was actively dismantling their forces, piece by piece. "We need to make them fear us," the fleet leader said, his voice low but cold with rage. "If we don't fight back now, Earth will set the course for the galaxy." He turned to his remaining officers. "Get the remaining fleets into position. We fight back now, no more waiting." But as the alien forces began to rally, it was too late. Earth's Leviathan fired once more, tearing through their defenses. The alien ships, scattered and vulnerable, had no hope of resisting the human onslaught. Earth had found its rhythm, and the alien empire was losing ground fast. Back on Earth, Commander Jackson watched the alien fleet begin to falter. The battle was still raging, but he knew the tide had turned. Earth had struck first, but it had also made a statement. The galaxy would know Earth's name now, not just as a backwater planet, but as a power capable of reshaping the very fabric of space. "Their fleet is breaking," Jackson said, his voice low but confident. "We've sent a message, and the galaxy will remember it. The alien fleet is scattered, their pride shattered, and Earth's military momentum continues to build. However, the alien empire is not yet finished. The fleet leader and his council regroup, determined to strike back with everything they have. Meanwhile, Earth's forces remain on high alert, knowing that the next wave of alien retaliation will be even more dangerous than the last. The alien fleet, once a symbol of invincible power, had fallen apart. Their command structure was fractured, and the remaining ships that had not been destroyed in the initial assault limped into the far reaches of space, barely operational. The alien leader, still reeling from their crushing defeat, was on the move. His mind burned with a singular thought: revenge. Earth had humiliated them, but that humiliation would not stand. "We cannot let this stand," the alien leader growled, his fist clenched at his side. The failure was personal. For years, he had been confident in the invincibility of his empire, but now, after Earth's surprise counterattack, he had been shown the fragility of his empire's superiority. "We underestimated them," his second-in-command said, his voice a mixture of dread and frustration. "Their technology, their resolve, it's nothing like we anticipated." The leader turned slowly, his face a mask of fury. "Get the fleet back into formation. We rebuild, we strike again." The alien officer hesitated. "But they've proven they can defeat us. How do we—" "I don't care how they did it," the leader snapped. "They won't do it again. We'll launch everything we have. We will destroy them, or we will die trying. The galaxy will remember our wrath. On Earth, Commander Jackson and his team watched the alien fleet retreat into the distance. Victory was within their grasp, but Jackson's instincts told him that this was far from over. His heart pounded as the last of the alien ships disappeared. From their senses, they've fallen back, Daniel said, her voice tight with cautious optimism. But they're not done, not by a long shot. Jackson turned to face her, his expression hardening. I know, this was just the beginning. They'll come back with everything they've got, and we'll be ready. The human forces had proven their worth, and Earth had sent a powerful message, but Jackson wasn't foolish enough to believe that the alien empire would just accept defeat. Their pride had been shattered, but that didn't mean they'd stop. The next battle would be even more brutal, and Jackson needed to prepare his forces for the worst. Reinforce the perimeter, Jackson ordered. Alert all units to stay. On high alert. I want everything ready. If they come at us again, we hit them first. Meanwhile, on the alien command ship, the Council gathered to discuss their next course of action. The defeat had been catastrophic, but the Council leader was not one to admit failure easily. His empire had lost the battle, but it was far from losing the war. The humans have shown they can fight back, the leader said, his voice cold with rage. But they've also shown that they're not invincible. If we hit them hard enough, we can break their spirit. One of the council members, his face pale and drawn, shook his head. Their warship, the Leviathan, was unlike anything we've ever seen. It tore through our forces with a ferocity we couldn't respond to. It's a weapon we can't match. We don't need to match it, the leader replied. We need to destroy it. We've got the numbers, we've got the power. We will focus our forces on that warship, and once it falls, the humans will crumble. But it's not just the Leviathan, another council member added, her voice filled with uncertainty. Their entire defense network is more advanced than we expected. Their weapons, their drones, it's all a step beyond anything we've encountered. How do we get through that? The leader's expression hardened. By showing them what happens when they challenge the might of the Empire. We'll use everything we have. We won't hold back. Back on Earth, Jackson's team was busy preparing. And for the inevitable. The defense systems had been reinforced, but Jackson knew it wouldn't be enough. The alien empire wouldn't give up. They'd come back stronger, angrier, and with more deadly force. The next fight would be decisive, and humanity needed to be ready. We're not just defending anymore, Jackson said, his voice firm as he addressed his commanders. We've proven we can strike. We need to strike first. We need to hit them before they can hit us again. The officers around him nodded, their faces resolute. They had seen the power of the alien fleet, and they knew that their victory in the first battle was a fragile one. The second battle would not be so easy. We've learned from this, Daniel said. We know their weaknesses now, and we have the upper hand. We can do this. Jackson looked at the team, a small but confident smile appearing on his face. We're not just going to survive, we're going to end this. Let's make sure the aliens know that Earth is no longer a target. We're a threat. In the distance, the alien fleet was regrouping, its ships repaired as best as they could be, and its forces steeled for another confrontation. The Council had no intention of letting Earth's victory go unchallenged. They would rebuild, adapt, and return with vengeance. But as the alien fleet prepared to launch its next strike, the galaxy watched. Earth had made its presence known in a way that was impossible to ignore, and in doing so, humanity had changed. The rules of the game. For the first time, Earth had shown its power, not just as a planet, but as a rising empire that would no longer be a passive bystander in the galaxy. The alien empire had underestimated humanity's strength. Now they would face the full force of Earth's resolve. The alien fleet had regrouped, and this time there was no hesitation. Every remaining ship, every weapon, every alien on board was driven by a singular mission: to reclaim their pride, to punish Earth for its audacity in surviving the first wave. They would not make the same mistakes. They would bring everything they had to bear on the planet that had humbled them. The fleet leader stood in the command center of his flagship, staring at the massive holographic projection of Earth. His mind burned with the desire for revenge, the humiliation of their earlier defeat still fresh in his thoughts. "They won't escape us this time," the fleet leader growled, his eyes cold with anger. "Prepare the fleet for the final assault. We will show them the cost of defying us." His officers moved quickly, preparing the alien fleet for the full-scale attack. But beneath his commanding voice, there was an underlying tension. They had underestimated humanity before, and the fleet leader could not afford to make the same mistake again. Earth had proven its strength, and this time they would not be caught off guard. On Earth, Commander Jackson stood in front of the war table, his expression grim but resolute. The alien fleet was on its way, and he knew this time would be different. The first victory had been a stroke of luck, a combination of strategy, surprise, and sheer determination. But now, the aliens were coming at full strength, and Earth had to be prepared for what was coming. "We've seen what they're capable of," Jackson said to the gathered officers, "but we've also seen their weaknesses. The key is to stay ahead of them, outmaneuver them. They can't match our speed, our adaptability. That's what we'll use against them." Lieutenant Daniels nodded, her face steely with determination. "We've retooled our defenses based on what we learned from the first battle. We've reinforced key points in our grid, and the Leviathan's weapon systems are ready to go. This time, we're not waiting for them to make the first move." Jackson glanced at the holographic map of Earth's defensive positions, his mind already calculating the alien fleet's most likely movements. They had been reckless before. They would be reckless again. "We need to get them into our kill zone," Jackson said. "Our best chance is to draw them into a position where they'll have no choice but to engage. We need to hit them with everything we've got before they can regroup." The officers nodded in agreement. They had learned from their mistakes, and they would not allow the aliens to take advantage of their planet again. The alien fleet was nearing Earth's orbit, their ships brimming with energy, their weapons primed. The fleet leader, watching from his flagship, could feel the excitement of the impending battle. This time there would be no mercy. Earth would fall, and the humiliation of their defeat would be avenged. "Deploy the fleet," the fleet leader commanded, his voice cold with authority. "No mercy, no survivors." The alien ships moved forward, their weapons aimed at Earth's defenses, their attack patterns already mapped out. The countdown to battle had begun. As the alien fleet descended into Earth's atmosphere, Jackson's voice rang out across the command center. "Now, all forces engage. Hit them with everything." The moment Earth's forces unleashed their attack, it was like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. The Leviathan's massive cannons fired with deadly precision, targeting the alien fleet's weak points. Earth's warships darted across the sky, striking the alien ships with calculated ferocity. The first volley hit its mark, and the alien fleet began to break apart. But the aliens fought back with a fury that shook the very air. Their weapons lashed out, sending waves of energy crashing into Earth's defense lines. The battle was vicious, a war of attrition where every move, every shot counted. "We've got them," Daniels shouted, her voice filled with excitement and fear. "They can't keep up with us." But Jackson knew better. This battle wasn't over yet. The alien fleet was still coming, and they were fighting like cornered animals. The real test was yet to come. As the battle raged on, Earth's forces began to push back the aliens, one ship at a time. The Leviathan, with its advanced weaponry, tore through the remaining fleet, striking with precision, but the alien leader refused to back down. "I will not let them win," he growled, his fist clenched in anger. "They will know the true meaning of defeat." But it was too late. The alien fleet, once so confident in its might, was now reduced to a broken, disorganized mess. The tide of battle had shifted. With a final devastating strike, Earth's forces grappled the last of the alien ships. The battlefield was silent, the alien fleet scattered and destroyed. The Leviathan floated above Earth, its massive form a symbol of humanity's strength. Jackson stood at the command center, watching as the alien fleet vanished into the void. The war was over. Earth had won. But Jackson knew the war was far from finished. The galaxy had seen Earth's power, and others would come. But now they would not be underestimated. Earth's silence had been shattered, and the galaxy would never be the same again.